Hello everyone, and welcome to the Divorced Dad Diaries, and I'm your host, Stéphane Jutras. Today is a special day. I guess, I think it's a special day. It's actually Father's Day. So first off, I would love to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers and dads listening and just tagging along for the ride, listening to this podcast episode after episode. And also like anyone that plays the father figure, because as we all know, the father is not always there, and it might be the mom that takes the role of father. So that's also important to mention that it's, not necessarily just that. So, happy Father's Day to everyone. And I just spent a great one. It's actually the evening now. And I decided, it's been a little while since I posted a podcast and since I recorded anything. So I was like, today is a perfect opportunity to do that. So I went in front of a microphone and sat down and decided to talk about this a little bit. So Father's Day, what does it mean exactly? The first thing I did again, I went on Wikipedia, and I was really surprised. If you do a search on it, you'll see that, it's obviously a common theme, kind of celebrating fathers, I guess, around the world. But if you look at the list of the countries, every country celebrates Father's Day differently. So it's kind of interesting to look at that if you have a chance. In Canada, actually, Father's Day is celebrated on the third Sunday of June. And here it's not really a public holiday. It usually happens on a Sunday. And what they say in Wikipedia is typically it really involves spending time with one's father or the father figures in one's life. And also small family gatherings and the giving of gifts may be part of the festivities organized for Father's Day. So what do I do usually for Father's Day? Well, before I had kids, I would spend some time with my dad. Actually, I would go there and buy him a little gift, usually a bottle of wine. He's not really, he doesn't really like to receive gifts, and he loves wine. So I think that's a great opportunity and to get him a bottle and give it to him. And even to this day, that's what I do for Father's Day and even his birthday. That's all he wants. And he doesn't buy it for himself. So it's kind of a little treat every time there's a holiday like this. So that's kind of nice. And obviously it changed once I got kids, being a father also. So spending time with my kids. And over the years, it's kind of changed. Obviously, when they're younger, you spend the day with them, play around with them, and, might do some activities. They will write you a card or do a little, make you some gifts or drawings and things like that. But obviously Father's Day always been kind of important to be able to spend some time with the kids and with the family. And the older you get, Father's Day changes a little bit. My kid's older now. So usually on Father's Day, what we'll do, my daughter might a couple of times cook for me and make me a meal now that she's older or bring me to a restaurant. My son as well, he did that a couple of times when he was younger, but now that he's older, I guess it's a bit different. We'll go out for breakfast or do something special during that day. So this year was a bit different because my daughter wasn't here today, but my son was. So I spent most of the day with him. So again, what does it mean, Father's Day? I read the Wikipedia definition before, but some people would say, like a bunch of other holidays, why have one single day? It should be Father's Day every day, or it should be Mother's Day every day. And you know what? That's true. But at the same time, I think, at least if I talk about myself, everybody's so busy during the year that you don't really take time to stop and think about what it's like to be a father and what it's like to be a mother. I think for me, at least, it's kind of a good time to reflect a little bit on what's been happening during the year, maybe, and also really kind of focus and spend more time with the family as well to discuss that. So, we're always busy to do a million things like I was the past month. So it's a great opportunity. Having said that, this year has been a little bit different than the other years. Like I said, I've loved being a father. I have a podcast, talk often about my kids. And they're really a big part of my life and will always be. So I love that, and I have the best kids ever too. But at times it can be challenging for sure. It's not always fun and games and, happiness and everything else. So I'll give you an example why this year is a bit different. Well, as you probably know, I haven't really posted and recorded anything. It's been probably more than a month. Without trying to find excuses, it's been a busy month because Work actually picked up quite a lot, and I've been busy doing a bunch of stuff at work, even doing some overtime, and at the same time, a bunch of stuff at home as well. I got a new car. So all this been kind of busy. And on top of that, also, like I mentioned in maybe a previous episode, that my son was struggling a bit this year at school. He's in grade, here it's Sec 3 that we call, but it would be grade 9. And yeah, usually he's a very good student, but this year, maybe because of the pandemic or everything has been happening, it's been tough with him, with school and everything else. And the past month, I was a bit, even a month and a half, I was a bit discouraged because he really had to make an effort to pass all his classes. So I started giving him a hand on that. And I spent a lot of time with him at night after work, spending time studying and helping him out with his school and projects and everything. And to be honest, it's not been easy. Teenagers, right? He's been studying from home for a while now. And I mean, he's going on and off at school, but still the pandemic didn't really help. And I guess motivation and everything else wasn't there. As a father and someone that wants his kids to succeed, I've been working with him and I tried to push him and to try to help him out with the work. And I mean, just being there, but, I was kind of pushing for everything to be done. I knew he had a potential and he has a potential and he's a good student usually. So that's why. But it was really tough for him. So I started helping him out and it didn't go that well most of the time. It was a lot of convincing every night, saying, okay, let's study this, let's study that. Let me give you a hand on this and that. And night overnight with all the different subjects. And he had some projects. So I was always pushing and he was pushing back and wasn't happy about it. We had a lot of arguments, a lot of fights. And really, I was discouraged a little bit a couple of times. And a couple of times too, I didn't know what to do. And I just kind of wanted to quit and just say, you know what, you deal with your thing. And if you don't want to help yourself, I can't do anything. So I was a bit down a couple of months. It's been tough, especially after a day at work. And, you finish your work shift and after you start that and you're just convincing and arguments and everything else. It's been a long month, let's say. But all that said, actually, I guess it helped because he's passing everything, I think, up till now, which I wasn't sure was the case before. So just for that, it was a win for me. But I was really, really drained. And I have to say, every night I would go into bed and it was draining. But again, even if I was frustrated and discouraged at time, the day after, I would kind of pick up and try again and just try to push him and help him out and everything else, even if I would just get push back an argument. So today's Father's Day, and for my Father's Day gift, my son actually gave me a letter, which was really nice. Just before we went for our usual breakfast for Father's Day, he gave me the letter. So I'll read it to you because I think it's important and it might give some more perspective to all the dads that are out there. And I know it gave some to me, and it was a really nice letter. So let me grab this letter here. And obviously, I asked him if it was okay. So I got his permission to read this letter here. So let me start. So the letter, again, something simple that he printed out and gave to me. It goes like this. Happy Father's Day. I wanted to thank you for everything you have done to help me this year. I hate school so much, and I have made that blatantly obvious. But you have been there to help me this entire year. And not just this year, every single one before. Through thick and thin, no matter the subject and no matter how I was feeling. I know you work a lot, and I'm sure the last things you wanted to spend your afternoons and evenings doing was studying math, history, science, and everything else with me. But you did it anyway. I am eternally thankful for that. I was thankful even when I was mad and tired while studying, and I always will be. I love you. Thank you so much for all the help you have given me throughout this year. Thank you for picking me up from school and driving me there and waking me up when I was grumpy and watching shows with me and making dinner and everything else you've done for both of us. As I've said, everything you've done for us does not go unnoticed, but it's times like these that I'm especially grateful, and I wanted to at least to make sure that I acknowledge that I was so grateful. I love you so much and have an amazing Father's Day and every other day. First off, I have to say that when I got the letter, it was really touching, and maybe I had a little tear or two coming out because I was always there for him. And sometimes, I mean, basically what I'm trying to say is you're always there for your kids, and sometimes it doesn't show. And I think some kids will kind of not say those things, but it matters, and they want you there, and they want you to push them, and they want you to do this, right? Even though they don't show it, or even though they say the opposite. I was happy, and it made me happy to read that he was thankful about that actually he was realizing too what was happening. As I said before, after a long day of work, sometimes the last thing you want to do is study math and do math with a kid that doesn't want to do it, or that's pushing back, or that's just like basically sitting there and not motivated and everything. It's hard to keep pushing it. But just reading the letter made me realize that I did the right thing, and that it's something that I will still do, and it's something that's appreciated even if it doesn't show it. So really it made my day, and really one of the best Father's Day, because like I said, it's been a tough time, and at least realizing that it made an impact on him, and also having a letter to tell me how he felt. And because I sometimes in the heat of the moment, you don't pick up those things and you don't think about it. So it was really nice to get that letter, knowing that he was thankful for the time that was spent with him and all the effort. And again, that it wasn't unnoticed. And I think it might sound weird. I'm not doing that I think no father is doing that to get recognized or anything on that. Even without a letter, I would have still continue doing what I'm doing. And I'll still do the same thing next year if he needs to. And whenever he needs help, I always told him that I'll be there. But sometimes it's nice to kind of get a bit of recognition and appreciation from your kids. And sometimes it's nice. It's just kind of a way to tell you, Dad, you're doing a good job. Because sometimes you don't know, right? If I take that example, I was pushing and helping, and I was there. And at one point I felt, maybe I should just leave him, and maybe it's too much, and maybe it's not the right approach that I have, right? And maybe I should change and think about something else. And I've sat down and actually thought about that many times, or just, just to leave him and he will learn. But I'm glad that I haven't done that, and I'm glad that it was appreciated, and I'm glad that everything worked out at the end after all. And like I told him, it doesn't matter how much time I spend, I'll always be there to help him. I'll always be there for him. So that's why that actually made my day. And I have this letter there in front of me, and definitely I'll keep it close to me, and I'll probably reread it at times when it gets a bit harder. So that was quite amazing. So after that, we then went for breakfast. Like I said, we usually do that every year. We used to go to breakfast even more, like pretty often since they're babies. Almost every weekend or every other weekend, I would go with the kids for breakfast. And it was a thing that I loved doing, because it was one of the tradition that maybe it's because it would kind of put us all together, and we could sit down and just have a chat and talk. And we're, I won't say stuck together, but we're at a table and we spend an hour, 2 hours, a couple of hours together. And usually we have a lot of fun. Even when we were younger, we just bring some crayons, and at the back of the placemat, they would actually like draw pictures and stuff. And we'd play games like hangman and things like that. Or, we'd tell stories and write stuff. So I have the best memories there. And having breakfast is something I love doing. And even to this day, my daughter is 19 and my son is 15. And we still do that, and they love it, and I love it too. And again, I was thinking it's probably because of my dad as well, as a father, and having my father doing that too when I was young. My father used to do the same thing, and even to this day, sometimes I'll go, or he'll come over to help me out, do something, and we'll say, let's meet at the Tim Hortons, which is our Canadian Starbucks, and meet there and just go for coffee and a breakfast. He still pays for the breakfast with me, So it's really something that he had been doing pretty much since I can remember when I was a young kid. So I guess I took that thing from him and did it with my kids, and it's quite amazing. So I'm really really happy that this has keep going, and they're still happy to go with me. Again, because everybody's getting older, so that makes me happy. So we had a great time. We went there, and especially now we haven't really been for breakfast inside a place. It's been almost more than a year and a half because of the pandemic. So on top of going for Father's Day, it was nice to kind of go back to restaurants and go inside and just have a great time with him and just talking again. So again, we done the same thing. Sat there, had a huge breakfast. Actually, he did most of the eating. I mean, my son is 15 and he's like 6'6", and so he needs a lot of food. So yeah, we had a lot of good times just eating and just chatting and remembering things. And after that, it was nice. So what happened is we finished breakfast and we got in the car and said, you know what, let's go. It was a beautiful day. So let's go for a little car ride. So we went for maybe an hour and a half car ride. We drove a bit around the city, some quieter place, and just, the windows down and everything else, and just listening to music, talking and driving around. It was great. It was a great bonding moment. And as a dad too, it made me really happy to be able to spend time with him. And what made me even happier is him wanting to spend time with me, because, I think I always want to spend time with my kids, but the older they get their own things and they want to spend less and less time with you. So that's why I was happy that he wanted to spend time with me. So we had a great time, got back home and like went out with our days, but it was really fun. And for my daughter, she actually went out. She's out of town today, and she sent me a text yesterday. And it's like, oh, it's true, it's Father's Day. And she was coming back this evening and said, you know what? We'll celebrate it on Monday. No problem. I'll bring you out for dinner and we'll talk about it. So even my daughter now, I'm looking forward to it. And like I said before, Father's Day can be any day. Sometimes people get frustrated because you didn't do anything on Father's Day, or I don't know, either the kids are busy or the dad is busy, you're busy. So why not set up another day? I mean, why does it have to be Father's Day like that Sunday every year? I mean, it can be any day. So that's why I didn't mind. My daughter sent me a text and I was like, you know what, we'll celebrate tomorrow and I'll go spend some time with her and probably remember the good old days when she was younger and just talk and just have a good time. So that was a great day. And that was a great opportunity to actually record something and just to share with you all, because I know not everyone is at the same place, and sometimes some dads don't have when I may be able to see their kids today for whatever reason. But what I'm saying is, if you were not able to see your kids today, why not just set up another day? Just set up a Father's Day, and it can be any day of the week. It can be any time. And just to make it special, if it wasn't possible today. It's never too late to do those things and just going out with your kids. And I love doing that, and I do it often as well with my son and my daughter, or both of them. I'll grab them and say, okay, today we're spending time together, and we try to plan something and we do it. So like I said, hopefully it will last a long, long time. But I'm enjoying it now, and you have to enjoy the moment on that front. So that was my day. I'm really happy how it turned out, and I hope everyone out there had a great, great day as well today. Feel free if you want to share your Father's Day, or maybe some things you do during the day with your kids. If you want to share with me, please just send me an email and tell me about it. I'd love to hear about it, or even on Instagram. We can have a chat about it. So I think that's it for now. It's been great talking about it, and I hope you enjoyed this episode as well. Like I said, it's been a while since my last one, but now school is over and work is getting a bit less crazier. So definitely, and I have a few topics that I want to talk about that are on the back burner that I'll be recording as well. So you'll definitely have more episodes coming your way. But, and again, thank you for your patience on that. And it will be coming up soon. Thank you again. And as always, if you have any questions or you want to reach me, please don't hesitate. Send me an email, TheDivorcedDadDiaries@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to answer and chat with you, or always open for anything. So if you have suggestions or you have questions or just want to share anecdotes or anything, please just send it my way. That would be great. You can also find all the episode and everything on my website, www.TheDivorcedDadDiaries.com, or you can go on Instagram as well for The Divorced Dad Diaries, and you can just follow me on there and we can chat there. So I try to post a little bit on there too. I'm also on Twitter and Facebook as well if you prefer, so I can be reached out pretty much everywhere. So please don't hesitate. And also, if you have a chance, if you don't mind, just you can subscribe on my podcast on pretty much every podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean. Just subscribe. So that way you'll know when I post my next episode to get a notification and maybe even auto download. So it will be out. It will be right there for you to listen. So I wish you all a very, very good week. And again, an happy Father's Day. And we'll talk very soon. Bye-bye.